So I was in the top 10 of 𝐏𝐸𝐚𝐚𝐢𝐥 back in 2003. And by me saying that year really ages me.
Yeah, I got in trouble talking about Gabby's.
You did?
Yeah.
Because he said that they're not coming back.
So I said I heard through the grapevine that somebody heard somebody say that they were going to do it. And then one of the last owners, I guess, saw that on Instagram and they're like, that's not true.
And I know that there definitely was talks of it for a very long time. I don't know if that is still a thought or not, but there definitely was talks. But their photo in the beginning is just like 2 white tables with some red Solo cups and like a couple people performing in a backyard. And their vision was they wanted to cover their mom's expenses. Their mom was still alive at that point, and they wanted to cover her medical expenses and not make it so hard. And so all these people, last year we had 5,500 people come out. But last year we raised $1,007,000.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. And which is just like to us too. We just were like, you got to be kidding me. But once the effort has been put in on the other side is sort of when I go, okay, maybe they're ready for this and they really want it and they're trying to fill their calendar. And it's like the go-getters that I want to go and get.
Okay. Welcome. This is the Live from Langley BC podcast where we talk to local residents and business owners about what's going on around the Lower Mainland. I'm your co-host, Dan, local realtor with
Megan from the local space.
Today, we're joined by the most famous person in Langley, according to Google.
No way.
This is country music superstar, Karen Lee Batten, a.k.a. 𝐏𝐸𝐴𝐷. That was a lot. Welcome, Karen.
Seriously, what Google?
I looked it up. I looked this up like 3 months ago because when we had Dallas Smith on, I was like, oh, I wonder like who would top this. And sure enough, it's 𝐏𝐸𝐴𝐷, then Dallas Smith, and I'm like, okay, cool. We got the top. Now
if you look at my net worth, Google's also lying.
That's true. That's true. Yeah, never trust Google. But in this case, trust Google. I wonder if we can pop up a little image of that.
That would be fun.
But yeah, welcome to the podcast. Thanks for coming on. I'm excited that you're able to join us here. But for anybody who doesn't know you or hasn't heard of you, which, I mean, we're in Langley and surrounding areas, I'm sure they've heard you on the radio at one point. Yeah, if you can introduce yourself.
Well, I'm Karen Lee Batten. I originally was from Abbotsford. Born and raised out there, and then moved out to Vancouver right shortly after I was on 𝐏𝐸𝐚𝐢𝐥 Idol. So I was in the top 10 of 𝐏𝐸𝐚𝐢𝐥 Idol back in 2003. And by me saying that year really ages me. It actually always throws me whenever I like pair up what the year is now and then look back, because it does sort of feel like it. I mean, it didn't just happen, but it doesn't feel like that long ago. But season 1 𝐏𝐸𝐚𝐢𝐥 Idol. 2003, and then moved to Vancouver and then started my country music career, which I didn't even sing country on Idol. So that's how I was just not even thinking remotely at all about country music at that point. I thought it was all what my dad listened to. So I thought it was all like Hank Williams Jr. and like just old sort of twangy stuff, right? And then I got invited to go to Merritt Mountain Music Festival by a girlfriend, and I saw a lot of Wranglers and wife beaters and really hot dudes, and like that roped me in at around 19 and cut a record with Tom 𝐏𝐸𝐴𝐷, producer, and then went on to cut a second one with John Ellis, and then went to Muscle Shoals, Alabama, and cut a blues album. And now I'm in the middle of releasing my 4th record, so it sort of gets you up to date in a really quick way.
Yeah, it's awesome. You're about to release some, like, didn't you just release a song too, like about a year ago?
I did. Yeah, so I think I've got 3 released off of this project coming up. The last one was called Somewhere in Between. That one was a few months ago, and before that, it was The Trouble with Friends, probably the one that you're thinking of. Yeah, and then we released Drinkin' Song. That was the first one we released off of this project.
Okay, gotcha. That's awesome.
So we've got a few more to go, and then
Yeah, so I mean, like, well, we talked about this with Dallas too, and it was like, that was kind of the turning point, I think, around like the early 2000s, because that's, I mean, I was like at the 2010s.
Weren't you like in elementary school then?
Yeah, no, but like I was looking back at my like what I could recollect, and I remember actually his first songs on the radio. I remember his default songs, like my parents used to play 103.9, I remember. And then, so that was
awesome.
Getting played in there, Much Music, right? And then, so yeah, I wasn't playing music on my own back then. It was 2005. I didn't have, I had like a Walkman thing.
Yes,
yeah.
I had a Walkman.
But then, yeah, around the late 2010s or early 2010s, like that's, I think, when country started to really change, right? And so what were you singing before?
I was singing rock just before. I mean, I'm a total like 90s rock girl, you know? So I was all about like Rage Against the Machine and Pearl Jam and like Nine Inch Nails and, you know, Red Hot Chili Peppers and all that. And if I'm thinking girls, it was like Alanis Morissette and Sarah McLachlan, Tori Amos. That was sort of my era. And then right when I first got into country, it was like Martina McBride, the Dixie Chicks, like, you know, Jessica Andrews way back then. Do I dare ask what age you even were in 2005?
I don't know how old I was. I was probably like 10.
Did you ever own a cassette player?
Not like not a portable one. It was in like the CD player.
I was at least in high school.
Right.
Yeah, I was in.
So you had a cassette. You had a portable cassette player.
I remember my first cassette was Spice Girls.
I used to. So I listened to
on a cassette.
My sister played Spice Girls.
I had Spice Girls and Aqua on cassette.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
that's good stuff. Yeah, for sure. I think I had Snoop Dogg on cassette.
Oh wow.
And then my first CD I ever bought was Midnight Oil and U2 Joshua Tree. I bought those both at the same time at like HMB in the mall.
Good old HMV.
You know how much money we would spend on CDs back in the day?
Remember Columbia House?
Yeah.
That screwed everybody. Yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah, I definitely do that. He's
You
like,
know what
he's
that is?
Dad's like, no.
What is that? Is it like the original Netflix, but for music?
Columbia House would have been like today's day and age, like the pyramid scheme.
Okay.
Right? Like when you
Oh.
sort of sign up and then someone signs up under
Yeah.
you and so on and so forth. And then it's like the Bermuda Triangle and you can never get the frick out of it, like ever. And then you just keep giving them money. But what they did was they would say, you get to pick like 10 CDs in the beginning and it's only going to cost you like $3 or something ridiculous. And then you get it. And then you're
and
like,
you keep getting CDs, and like some of them you don't even know like whose music is. Or
Oh,
what.
okay. I see.
like, I swear 20 years later, someone's still paying off their Columbia House membership.
I mean, if they can keep their head above water, like HMV is gone, right?
Yep. A&B
Yeah.
Sound, I don't think is around anymore. Columbia House isn't around anymore. So something happened.
Yeah, they still. It's funny now. I don't even know what they sell in those record shops. I think it's just records. I don't think they sell CDs there. Do they?
I don't think so. I was in a record store in Kelowna the other day. Nope. And the one I go to in Vancouver, they don't sell CDs. You might see the odd one like sitting on display on the wall, but that's not their forte. You know, it's all about records and T-shirts.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Bring back the nostalgia.
Exactly. Yeah.
How was it? So you were in Abbotsford.
Mhm.
Like, how was the scene back then? Like, when you first started out, and like, you probably were one of the pioneers then locally, or was there anybody locally that even?
When I first started out, I did a lot of like karaoke competitions. And I think that a lot of people do sort of do that and I think it's a great thing to do. You know, when people ask me, what should I do? I sort of don't know anything. Should I go and record? I'll go, don't waste money right out of the gate. Like, you've got to figure out where you land vocally and test yourself out, right? Figure out what you really want to sing, what like lights you up and what fires you up. Don't just kind of like walk in and only cook burgers when you're really good at making pasta. You know what I mean? Like, you don't really know yet. So that's sort of what I did. And I ended up hosting karaoke. So when I finally made the move from like waitressing and driving for Lordco Auto Parts, I merged over into just music, and it turned out that I started doing karaoke and DJing.
Okay.
So when I moved from Abbotsford, I ended up starting to work at Gabby's, and I first started hosting karaoke. And then my band started getting a bunch of shows there, and then I became the DJ. And so I was like there all the time.
No way.
Yeah. And so it just was a way for me to be able to like 100% dive into music, even though it wasn't necessarily always on stage. But, you know, out there in Abbotsford, like I sort of wasn't really paying attention to like who else you're sort of in your own little world when you're 18 and 19 and you're just like me, and and this is what I'm doing today. Everybody look at it. So I had landed in the newspaper a couple of times, but it was just like me starting out doing karaoke competitions and that sort of thing. But Idol came when I was 22 when I tried out for Idol. So that was sort of like the beginning of the crazy. And I've stayed independent ever since. Like I've never signed anything, and had a couple things come across my desk, but I've always just sort of done the hustle and kept going with music. And
yeah. And we'll talk about how you keep going with music, because that's a big talking point. But that's actually hilarious. Everybody, Gabby's always gets brought up. How long were you even there for? You were
13 years.
Oh my God. Yeah. How come I never saw you?
It's because we're a different age group.
You probably weren't old enough by the time she was done.
Okay, when did you finish working at Gabby's?
So when I first started, it was very light, and my band kind of was in and out, and I think I took over for a couple of little things in the very beginning. But it's better to even say probably when I left there. I left there, I think, in 2014.
Oh, you were of age? Oh, you
were? Do you think I'm like 12? Yeah, I was
2013, 2014.
Yeah, I was of age.
How old were you?
I think I would have been 19.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Yeah, because I'm looking back, like, when did I graduate? Oh, yeah. Yeah.
When you were that young coming in there, I was not the person that you were looking for.
I mean, like, we were there. We were definitely there for other reasons. Mm-hmm. We ended up, in the smoke pit the whole time.
Yes. Yep.
No dancing
definitely.
At that age. That's for sure.
That was a fun place. And I have to say, like, even to this day, when I drive by and just see like the dirt pad still sitting there, I'm like, man. Yeah. Or when pictures come out, of back in the day, myself and Mitch Merritt, who produced my Muscle Shoals record, him and I did the very last song in that bar before it got torn down.
Oh, yeah.
They
During COVID, I guess that would have been, or?
I think it was right at the tail end. I think people were still wearing masks, but maybe didn't have to anymore. We definitely had more than 6 people in there. So we weren't getting in trouble, or maybe we shouldn't have been in the.
It's because you guys were sitting down. That's why. Yeah, it was okay because you were sitting down.
Yeah, Mitch just brought in his guitar, and we sat up there and played my version of "Sweet Home Alabama" that we cut down at Fame Studios, and that was it. There was no hydro even left on. And it was just like we opened all the doors and sat up on the stage and did a version of it, and that was it. Last song played.
That's Hollywood. That sounds like a movie.
I know.
And then the bulldoze, like you guys step out and you see like the wrecking ball go right through it.
It's pretty funny because the people that were involved in Gabby's over the years that were in that room, because there was like lots of staff and people had kind of come out of the woodwork, old staff. Everybody started like kind of like they wanted a piece of it.
Oh.
And so like I know that where my DJ booth was, right behind me were the 2 end cap poles to the stairs going up to where the VIP used to be. And like someone still has it in their warehouse for me. So I'm like, I'm going to have, like, what am I ever going to, can I have the pole? Like, I just want that pole.
You got to put it at the front of your house.
Yeah. Like I'm going to frame the thing and like keep it for life, but it's like, it's just one of those things, right? It was around for so long and so many people that we knew. People grabbed all the railings and
oh wow,
it was pretty funny. I know.
There's definitely a lot to keep there.
Yeah.
Like was it like wood paneling on the walls too?
Yeah, totally. There's a lot of things on the walls.
Yeah.
I mean,
and sticky carpet.
Yeah. That's when you say if those walls could talk.
I just remember my mom being like, do they still have that gross carpet? I was like, it's probably the same carpet from when you went there.
Probably.
Wow. Yeah, I could imagine that. Yeah, they did well. Yeah, that's well, I'm glad that
don't say anything that get you in trouble again.
Yeah, I got in trouble talking about Gabby's.
You did?
Yeah.
Because he said that they're not coming back.
So I said I heard through the grapevine that somebody heard somebody say that they were going to do it. And then one of the last owners, I guess, saw that on Instagram and they're like, that's not true. And I'm like, come on, let's talk about it.
Well, I know them. They're great. Steve particular. I love Steve. He's always been, a good buddy of mine. And I know that there definitely was talks of it for a very long time. I don't know if that is still a thought or not, but there definitely was talks of it. And then Gone Country, we actually, the twins actually made a shirt at one point that has like Gone Country on the front and then the old Gabby's logo on the back of the sweatshirt, which was pretty cool. That they did that. I know. I think it was the year after Gabby's actually got taken down. Yeah. So
Wow.
I've got that. I think it only came in pink though, so I don't know if you'd want it.
I've seen him wear pink.
Okay, good, perfect.
This is almost pink.
Some guys can pull off pink.
Yeah, no, I'm not shying away from pink.
Perfect.
Okay, well, since you mentioned Gone Country, let's touch on that because
Sounds
that's a huge event coming up, and it's the 10-year anniversary. We had Dallas on. He talked about it briefly, but he doesn't really know behind the scenes, right? He's like, I was there on the first year. I'm going on the 10th year. Fun then. I'm going to be fun now.
Yeah.
And then so speaking to the twins, I'm like, okay, who can we get on to really give us the whole spiel about how it started, how it got to where it's at, and what it's trying to accomplish? Because I feel like a lot of people, including myself, right, from the outside looking in, because I never ended up getting to go to any of these shows yet.
You gonna come this year?
Never went?
No, I'm going this year.
Okay, good. Okay.
Relax.
Oh.
We're
like, wait a minute.
No, it used to sell out so fast, right?
Yeah.
And then I had my phase where I was out of high school and I was into like the whole how could I put this?
Anti-country?
No, I listened to country.
Okay,
but
we'll see
was,
you later.
Yeah. No, that's the funny. Like I listened to country. I just go to like the Vancouver festival shows where
Right.
it's like
A mixture.
like electronic music.
Right, got you.
Electronic
EDM.
country?
No, there was no country.
Oh.
But that's what I would go to, and so I missed on that transition into country, and then I've gone to some shows now too. What did I just go to?
You're going to be a super fan after Gone Country.
Oh, I love country.
Okay, perfect.
I went to Brookswood.
Great. Nice.
I'm from Langley.
Perfect.
I grew up listening to it in high school,
Yeah.
not before. But yeah, no. So having you on would be able to talk about the entire process and how it's going, how it started. Because somebody who hasn't been wouldn't understand.
Sure,
I think.
yeah.
So
to go all the way back, will be 10 years ago. I can't even believe that. It's pretty crazy to think that back then. I think we had about 1,200 people show up. Now to even go back a bit further before my involvement, Jamie and Chris had it more like a rock show. It started first in a backyard. You should see the initial pictures. They're hilarious and great and super cool at the same time because you put it back to back to what the concert looks like today. And it's just it should give anybody hope who's trying to do something. And it looks like the first photo that it can be made into the next one. But their photo in the beginning is just 2 white tables with some red Solo cups and a couple people performing in a backyard. And their vision was they wanted to cover their mom's expenses. Their mom was still alive at that point, and they wanted to cover her medical expenses and not make it so hard. So these 2 boys came together young. I think they were still in high school and made this happen and raised a little bit of money. And it started to grow and grow from this backyard show. And then they took it to the Langley Event Center and had it in a room there. I believe at that point it was still rock because when I got asked to be involved, they brought the idea to their buddy, Tommy McDonald, also my buddy, bass player, amazing. And they said, we want to do country. We want to turn this into country. What should we do? And Tommy goes, you should, call my friend. And so I got this random call out of the blue from the twins with, them explaining the Langley Event Center. And so they wanted to turn it into country and that they already had their location. They just didn't know kind of how to go about getting the artists and so on. And so I helped them with the first year get Dallas and Aaron. They asked me to perform on it as well. And when we circled back, and I'll talk about the middle as well, but when we circled back to this year and we all sat down, we went, we've got to try and duplicate year 1 as much as we can. And so that's why we have the same artists as close to, as well as people who might not have been there on year 1, but have been so super involved and given their time and support, never asking for a dime. We wanted to make sure that we sort of, were nostalgic and brought back a bunch of different people who have been a part of it for so long. So now fast forward to last year. And I mean, we've had so many artists come on that stage. It's unbelievable. I mean, last year was the Rec Laws and we had TJ Miller and we've had Washboard Union. We've had Chris Buck, Jojo Mason. My gosh, I could keep on going. I know people are going to go, man, you forgot so-and-so. I know. But last year we raised $1,007,000.
Wow.
Right. Yeah. And which is just to us too. We just were like, you got to be kidding me. And And every year the twins will go into 𝐏𝐸𝐴𝐧𝐞, Langley, the restaurant, and we have a big gathering, and that's when they announce what we've sort of done every year. And it's like as many of the 200 volunteers that are around and available will come into that restaurant and fill up the lounge and bar and do the big announcement. And so you can imagine how that felt, because that's the first time we broke a mill.
Mm-hmm.
And just to know that, like, I mean, people are getting helped. You know, there's so many things that money does for people, you know, whether it's an individual family that we've heard of that really needs help, and the twins have heard, I mean, that goes directly, they deal with it and so on. But whether it's that or whether it's machines, you know, we've all got to go into like the Abbotsford Canucks house and watch, like, you know, cancer machines go in, or redoing furnishings and bringing in brand new, clean, you can't do anything secondhand in these places, right? So everything's got to be clean and new. And whether it's artwork on the walls, I mean, these kids that have cancer that go into these rooms, they get uprooted, obviously, we know, from their own house. And then there needs to be a place for their family to be there with them, whether it's permanently through this process. And some of them obviously don't get a chance to ever go home, which is terrible. Or whether it's just the process of getting better and having all of these, medical issues dealt with on a daily basis. So I know that a few years ago, we all got to like unwrap all this furniture for them and start placing it in these rooms, including these machines that are, you know, I mean, we get it. They're hundreds of thousands of dollars to place these things in these rooms. And so all these people, last year we had 5,500 people come out, and they buy a drink, it's going to the cause, you know? So just like every single thing that happens, there is such a feel good. And you'll be there this year.
I'll be there.
And you'll see it. Megan, are you coming?
I'm not this year.
Okay.
No, I'll be in the 𝐏𝐻𝐸𝐴𝐧𝐞.
Okay, well, that's okay. You come before.
Yes,
I've been to many of them.
Yeah,
yes.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's just unbelievable to be up on that stage as an artist myself, but also, you know, watching everything backstage and all of the people that come together, and then all the volunteers that are there for hours beforehand, during, after. The cleanup's insane. As you can well imagine, it's 19 plus and everyone's like, you know, having a really good time. But it's pretty unreal what people can do when they open their hearts and their wallets, to be totally frank about it, you know? Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? Like I was like, that's amazing. You guys are doing so much. And for like the outsider looking in at like a festival going on, and they're like, you know, these guys are just coming in and trashing the place and just partying, you know, like what's that actually doing? Like now they know, like it's actually going to a great cause. And I talked to the twins and they said like every dollar they know where it's going. It's not, you know, like some, you know, it sucks that it's out there, but there's definitely foundations out there that don't necessarily keep track of all the money that's being spent.
That's right.
It goes to the wrong hands, right?
Yeah.
Not the wrong hands. You know, there's definitely people who are helping the process along, but it's like they're understanding, and that's something that everybody should be aware of.
I agree. And they're very transparent about it all, which I love, because I mean, being somebody who donates time to it as well. And I mean, I know that even like the restaurant that's involved in the VIP, 𝐏𝐸𝐴𝐧𝐞 does their food too. I mean, they're donating too. So you do want to make sure that what you're doing is, you know, is going to where it's supposed to be going, which is great. And to further, when you said like, it's funny because when we look at the grounds and there's cans and bottles and people are cleaning them up, we also send that back too, right? I mean, obviously we put that in and get the money back on that, but the twins will put signs around on the grounds. And so there's next to, I think we've seen one little pushing incident, never anybody like punching somebody out or anything like that in 9 years.
Like, it's pretty good for a country festival.
Totally. And to think of people like drinking and having a good time. But there are signs around, and it's like things like they'll say, you know, go ahead and fight each other. And we like, how would I even put this? I can't remember how the sign is written, but something like, we encourage everybody to take videos of you and stick it online. Like there's that. There's another one that goes, don't be a Karen unless you're Karen Lee Batten, because we like... And I'm like, funny. You gotta be kidding. So of course everyone's coming at me backstage going, did you see the sign yet? Did you see them? I'm like, no, oh my word, what do they do now? You know?
Yeah, no, I've heard about the signs. I don't know if that was you or someone else telling me about it, how it's like, remember why you're here, and like, you know, don't go and like over drink, because like,
yeah,
you know.
Don't be stupid. Yeah, you know, I mean, yeah, we're here for this. But anyone that has not come to this, please come this year. Like, please, please come. And I don't even know how the tickets are at this point. I don't know. I think that there's like the Motorsport Lounge still has some. I think there's still some general admission open, but I'm not entirely sure. The VIP's done. That's like been done for years. Like those tables sell out 2 years in advance. But yeah, come. Like this is our last Gone Country Millennium Park. Like, yeah.
And there's going to be different things in the pipeline too. But
yes, there is.
Yeah, call to action on, this Gone Country because, I mean, let's just say, and you're going to talk about it, but this is the last very, very close to home event.
Yeah.
Because the next one's going to be a little bit of a drive away. But if you are, in Cloverdale, if you're in Langley and you haven't been to one of these, you can come out and watch Dallas Smith and Aaron Pritchett.
Exactly.
And Karen.
And Karen. Karen's going to be there? Okay. Karen, who else is going to be there?
It'll be, so from beginning to end, let's see if I can do this. And I'm going to feel terrible if I miss anybody. And I might not have in the right order, but I should know. So the side stage, we've got, hang on, it's coming.
You can pull out your phone if you want.
She doesn't have it.
It's over there. It's fine. Okay, we have Tony Stevens and Dave Hartney on side stage.
I love Tony Stevens.
He's so good. I know. I'm very, very excited that he's going to do this. And Dave Hartney has been around helping this event for so long in so many ways. He is also bougie. Dave, you're bougie. And he also owns a yacht. I know. And he owns I don't even want to say it's like a cottage, but it's more than a cottage, on the water in Vancouver. And he's like donated part of like a few nights at that and a yacht. If you haven't donated a yacht trip, now you have. Sorry, buddy. But things like that, not just an artist, but giving back more. So we've got him, and then who starts on the main stage is Danielle Ryan. So she also goes by Danny, and then we've got Brock Phillips, and then Dakota Pearl, and Chris Buck, myself, Aaron, and Dallas, awesome. and DJ Jackson Hawks.
Cool.
Will be in there as well.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
yeah. And good. That's July 20th.
And that's July 20th. And yes, we have other things that are coming up, meaning like Twins Cancer fundraising things happening next year. But this is the very last Millennium Park Gone Country, the big one.
So was that Gone Country, was that the first taste of event planning that you had, or were you doing that before?
So I only named my company back in, I think it would have been around 2013. When I ran the music for the BC Classic Custom Car Show at the Tradex in Abbotsford. So I did that for years. And then it was a friend of mine that sort of looked at me and went, you should do this. And I was like, but I'm singing and I don't want to, it's fun. And I don't want to crisscross it over, For me, it's just, I don't like saying that I'm an agent. That's not how I feel at all. But I'm more of an event coordinator or an event producer. And so I'll put together all the artists on stage, deal with, stage plots and tech, and then get that off to either my team of tech or whoever they've got on. So for instance, Gone Country has Promosa. So then I do all the details with the artists. If they want a specific type of apple juice, I have to forward that over and make sure that's, found depending on who they are. And just make sure that they're comfortable, and I advance all the hotels and just
okay, gotcha.
Get everybody going
behind the scenes, pulling the strings,
and make all the schedules and however long their set time should be, and then I send all that off to the next person. So how does a country singer musician get into your list of because you're working with one of my friends, Whiskey Blind, so they were on. Yeah, I love
and
them.
So, they recently broke in, right, to the scene, but now they're getting into, the sporting events and stuff like that. So, how did you even, I think did they tell me? I don't think they exactly told me how you were able to, get them in, or, what your list looks like for anybody who is thinking about, starting that path.
To be totally honest with you, I go by people reaching out to me. And it's funny to say it out loud because I don't even think a lot of people know that. I think a lot of people think that it's scouting or going and seeing somebody play or so on and so forth, which I do. But once the effort has been put in on the other side, is sort of when I go, okay, maybe they're ready for this and they really want it and they're trying to fill their calendar. And it's like the go-getters that I want to go and get. So if it's somebody who's just kind of going, you know, why is my phone not ringing? Then my deal is like, have you got off the couch and made a phone call? And it's nothing against them. A lot of people get kind of timid about it and don't really know where to start. But I always say, pick up the phone and phone 5 people and ask 5 questions to who you might respect in the industry. I guarantee you're going to have homework with 5 different things to do that's going to push you to the next level of your career, right? And so that's sort of what Whiskey Blind did with me. And lots of other acts have done that. I know Dakota Pearl did that with me too, and just kind of went, hey, like if you ever got something that opens up, let me know. We'd love to be a part of it. And then that makes me go, okay, who are these guys? Wait a second. When it came to Whiskey Blind, I actually had borrowed a guitar player from them at one point as well. And then he goes, yeah, I'm also a part of this band, Whiskey Blind, so on. But I hadn't heard from them directly. And then all of a sudden Ben reached out one day and kind of went, hey, and I actually have them on, I've got them on the Maple Ridge Pit Meadows Festival. I haven't even announced that yet because the schedule hasn't even come out yet.
Okay.
But that's July 27th, 28th, over Maple Ridge there. So I think I've got, I don't even know how many bands, maybe 7 or 8 bands over 2 days that'll be going into that festival. Chris Buck's going to be coming too. And by the time you release this, that'll be out. So I can say that.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
That's not similar to Cheese Crafters. It's different. That's a different weekend. Right? Okay.
So the week after Gone Country is the Pit Meadows Maple Ridge Fest. And that festival has been around since 1901.
Wow.
Like, what?
That's crazy.
It's a long time.
Yeah. We're talking about Maple Ridge a lot. That's awesome. We should bring them. We should promote that.
Have you been to Maple Ridge lately?
I'm going there tomorrow. Yeah. Why?
I don't know. It's just wondering.
You think I don't leave Langley just because?
No, I know you went to the Okanagan, or you're going to the Okanagan. So
yeah.
So I know you leave.
I love the Okanagan.
There's some banter between Langley and Maple Ridge. That's for sure. I mean, by banter, I mean like me sometimes saying.
Oh, I was like, I didn't know there was
banter. I am the banter.
Yeah, no. I think it's always been a thing, though. It's like a Langley.
I'm not from Langley, so I don't.
Or
like Chilliwack and Abbotsford.
I actually really like Maple Ridge. I think it's becoming. How can I explain this? And I've loved Maple Ridge and all the people. Don't get me wrong, but I think it's evolved quite nicely over the last 8 to 10 years, let's say, and since like Golden Ears Bridge became a thing, and they've been able to evolve with like cool places and restaurants
they can
and
leave the city.
Right? Like, I feel like before...
Open to outside influences.
Yeah.
I used to work in Maple Ridge.
When you had to drive all...
No, there was the bridge. It was recent, fairly after the bridge was built.
You were taking the ferry there every...
No, I never... I never had to take the ferry. I was
anywhere
here
you have to get on
that.
a boat to go is a little bit questionable. I'm just going to say that.
Yeah. But I go over there. Yeah, I go across the bridge every now and then, and I think it's nice.
No, it's great. I love it there.
Yeah,
it's probably one of the only.
It's faster to go to their superstore than it is for me to go all the way into our superstore from where I live.
Totally. Yeah.
I agree.
I'm really excited. This is my first year taking over that Maple Ridge Fest, and I performed there last year. I got to headline the show last year, and then they asked me if I would come in and help them run their show.
So it's kind of like, how could you describe it then? Is it like country music festival? Or
yes and no. I know it's called the Country Fair, but they really do want to be super demographic and have other genres and so on. So I actually have like one of the Indigenous elders, a 𝐏𝐡𝐨𝐧𝐞 elder, is going to come in and do a prayer and opening and a song, which is really super cool. And I've got a 𝐏𝐡𝐴 performance, and then I have a South Asian dance team that's coming in. And a bit of a rock band that's going to be coming in and doing like an instrumental thing, and then country bands as well throughout the 2 days.
So it's like a country fair.
Yeah,
kind of like rodeo, probably.
Exactly.
But yeah, rodeo has.
Does
that
Langley
too.
have a country fair? No. Abbotsford and Chilliwack do.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah.
Are you taking a shot at Langley for not having?
No,
a
I'm
country
just wondering because like it's country, isn't it?
And you're canceled. I'm just kidding.
She's already been canceled multiple times.
Yeah, it's fine. Langley country-esque. No?
I'd say Langley is where city meets country, according to all the guests. So we should have
Is that our slogan?
Is it?
I've seen where city meets country, but I thought that was Abbotsford's slogan.
I don't know.
We're creating things all over the place.
We've had like 5 people come on here and they're like, we're city meets country. Or we're the city meets...
Maybe it is. That'd be cool.
I know it's Langley Fresh. Langley, yeah. That's our slogan.
That's their hashtag.
No, it's on their website. Langley Fresh. We're Langley Fresh.
Do you want to know what's really cool about this fair that I get to do? That I decided to do that I think is going to be fun is in their beer garden, which they have. Opens at 12 o'clock, by the way. We'll see you there.
5 o'clock somewhere.
12, yeah. Is I decided to do cornhole championships and giant-sized Connect 4.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And giant Jenga happening in the beer garden.
Well, that's fun.
I think so, too.
Oh, well, cornhole, like you should put some of those like no fighting signs up because that gets heated.
Really?
I've never seen it.
I was at a wedding.
Wedding?
And we were playing cornhole and
oh my.
It got pretty intense. So you need the rules, the house rules up because when people start Googling stuff. And then
right. Okay. Good to know. I mean, I wouldn't know. I just feel like Gone Country and everybody just get along. Or I'm going to kick some
Maple
royal
Ridge this time.
Yeah, Maple Ridge. Those guys.
My girlfriend, and she's like my best friend, but she's also my assistant, Melly. She will rock some ass if something happens. She'll take somebody down for sure.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised. Like speaking of fighting in country settings, like rodeo was pretty bad. But
did you go to the rodeo?
Yeah.
Oh,
did you when I was there, and I didn't get in a fight.
Oh, okay.
I've never gotten in a fight.
Oh, but the story's over.
Yep.
Story's over.
That's it.
Okay.
I've been in the industry for 22 years. I've never been in a fight at a rodeo. So maybe, I don't know.
It's probably
maybe
just
I'm
all the
dodging.
city people that go to
I'm
the
a redhead.
rodeo.
Surrey.
Yeah.
No one messes with the redheads.
Maybe that's it. They're just scared.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
That's funny. But
thanks.
So we have some questions, and like we can maybe tune these questions a bit. But
I'm ready.
But just this time of year, like, what's your favorite thing to do?
Okay, I would probably say my favorite thing to do this time of year is when I have any extra time. It's like girlfriends, wine, winery. Hit a restaurant, honestly, or like an outdoor patio. I mean, it's sort of what like we all,
do you go to?
Yeah, it's sort of like what we all kind of strive to do whenever we've got a moment to be, you know what I mean?
Patio season?
Yeah, totally patio season. I am definitely a patio girl. I am sun all the time.
Do you go to lots of local restaurants? Because don't you,
I do.
Doesn't your husband own?
Yep.
So, okay.
Yep.
So you go to other places?
I like going to his restaurant.
Okay.
His restaurant would probably be my absolute...
What's his restaurant?
Sammy J's.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Now I know.
Yeah. Yeah, he feeds like 1,800 people in the VIP at Gun Country.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's insane.
That's
pretty crazy. I know. I do like his restaurant. He probably has my favorite food out of any restaurant chain, and that is not just being biased. I am that annoying person that has some sort of restrictions. And so they are pretty great with like gluten-free and all that jazz. I never thought I'd be that person. And I actually sort of laughed at people like that before. So, and then I became that person. I'm like, yeah, remember that laughing that I did? Now it's me.
But you probably got to try the entire menu. So you know too what's good. So what's good there?
Man, when I met Mike, I think I gained like 35 pounds in the first like 5 years I met him because I was his guinea pig.
Would.
He's like, hey, I'm gonna put this pasta on the menu. You got to try it. I'm like, okay. Just like 5 pastas later.
Again?
I know. What's my favorite thing on the menu? Their kung pao is so good. If I could have this every day and like not be gigantic, I would have the New Orleans skillet. It's a 7-ounce steak done the way you want, sliced on a bed of mashed potatoes with Cajun cream or jerk cream or both. And prawns and scallops and veg all on a skillet that's like blazing hot. When it goes through the restaurant, it's one of those everybody stares at it and people go, that's the New Orleans skillet. Like, oh, it's so to die for. But, we like got to keep it together.
I got to try that. I've had one thing I always got there. It's pretty simple, but like I love it. It's the salt and pepper wing.
Oh, yeah. He has
They're good.
habanero lime, sriracha lime and habanero mango wings
Mhm.
are like,
Yeah, really good.
yeah. Should we keep talking about food? Because I'm serious.
Well, this is what we would be doing right
I
now.
love
Sorry.
Yeah. No, I know. It's like, yeah.
I'm also an arts and crafts kind of girly.
Okay.
Yeah. So like I'll randomly see some weird stuff online and I get totally sucked in, and then I buy all the crap that you need to do it.
Oh, I don't have the
on
patience for
Amazon,
arts
and then
crafts.
TikTok made me do it stuff.
That's it. Totally. Like right now I have a canvas that's like 25 by 36 sitting in my kitchen ready to go with like drop sheets, a big bucket of glue, and like paint and a bucket. And you're supposed to like throw the sheet in, cover it with glue, put like 3 different colors of paint in there, massage it sort of. Then you put the canvas down, cover that with glue, then put the sheet on it and twist it and make it all weird. And then it totally hardens. And then you cut the edges, fold them over, staple it around. And it's like,
Interesting.
I thought you were going to say you were going to put a string on the bucket and throw it.
Oh, yeah,
I watched those videos
I've
for
seen
hours.
I don't
Just
have a
like-
house that could take that. That would be everywhere all over my house.
Yeah, I don't have the patience to like do it, but like, and they speed
It's
it up.
cool
It's just like,
though.
when's it going to stop?
You see the guys that hang upside down and do that?
No.
Yeah, there's a guy that I'll send it to you.
Oh my
It's so
God.
weird. There's a guy that hangs upside down and he does this holding 2 buckets in his hands.
Oh, that's getting
Weird.
creative. You talked about wineries. I love wineries. I love wine. Local wine. Local wineries that you go to. Like, do you do winery hopping around
Yeah.
the area, or do you go to her neck of the woods in the Okanagan?
Well, we have a place in the Okanagan, so we're kind of in both. And there's a Sammy J's in the Okanagan too.
Ah.
Yep,
He's in Kelowna?
yep, in West Kelowna.
Oh.
So by the movie theater, right
Mm.
before the bridge.
I have a place in Summerline.
Close.
Yeah.
Nice.
Mhm.
So I was just up there. I just actually was up there with my mom, and I took her to Mission Hills, and we did the toury stuff there. She had never been there or even seen like downstairs, which is pretty cool down there. And then we went to Summerhill for dinner as well one day. But like Township 7 is great and here, and Domaine de Chaberton and like Quail's Gate up there is amazing. And they have an Indigenous winery up there too.
Mhm.
It's like unreal. It's so good.
It's such nice views there.
I know.
Mhm.
It's so, yeah. So I do a girls' trip every summer too. So there's like 6 to 8, sometimes 9 of us that end up there. And it just sort of gets a bit crazy. And we sing karaoke and go to the casino and go to wineries. And
Yeah, it's a good time.
yeah, it's definitely a good time.
This is in Pentic. I guess this is Summerland. Actually, you should check out Dirty Laundry.
Mm.
Okay, I've heard of that.
Mhm.
Yeah,
It
it's
was-
really good.
Pizza.
Mitch.
Good. Food.
Yeah, Mitch, my guitar player and producer, he was the one that said that to me. He's like, you got to go there. I'm like, okay.
And it's like an indoor-outdoor patio because
Yeah.
it's like outdoor, but you're
Okay.
covered by grapes.
Mhm.
So it's like you got a canopy over you. So
That
it's
is
not like
cool.
it was super hot when we went, and it was like nice and shaded. They had some misters, but yeah, they have like build your own pizza type of thing, and like the pizza's like one of those like oven super bubbly pizzas.
Okay. Yeah. Thin crust, probably.
Yeah, and,
that's
then,
the
and then
best.
you can have a wine right there. Well, it's a thin, bubbly
Bubbly,
crust.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and the story. Have you heard the story? Have you heard this?
Not sure.
Yeah,
Dirty
it used to be
Laundry?
like a brothel.
Yeah. So there was a
Really?
So they're in Penticton, right? I don't know.
It
Summerland.
was for the workers on the KVR railway.
So
That's hilarious.
okay, you tell the story.
That's all I really know.
So you know what the words are.
Who
though.
was the madame? That's all I
Oh, I don't know.
There was a lot. I don't know.
I have no idea.
But basically,
But like all their branding and stuff is like
No
women
way.
like putting clothes on the, like hanging bras and stuff on the line and all
I'm going
that
to buy
sort of stuff.
everything. See, that's
Yeah.
the problem. I'm going to want all the shirts and all the wine glasses.
Yeah, and it's a fun little. And you can did you ride the KVR train? It's right by it.
no chance. Oh, actually,
I feel like your kid would love that.
I think I did actually.
Oh yeah, there's like a
There
train
was
that
no
goes.
chance. Well, I drove up to it, and then I saw how far down it was, and I'm like, no chance. But then we went on it
Oh.
because it doesn't start there.
No, it doesn't start. It just
we're
goes
gonna,
past.
we're not going to
Okay,
get off
yeah.
of it. We just got to go. It does stop, and you get to get off of it, but we stayed on.
Yeah.
Are you an everything wine type person or do you have a favorite type?
I like Cab Sav.
Same.
Probably.
Is that you too?
I'm just a white wine drinker.
Yep.
White wine and
Like Chardonnay
Beer.
or something? Yeah.
Mhm.
Craft beer?
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of people that just love white love craft.
Yeah.
I don't
But
know
I
why.
can drink dark beer. like Guinness and everything.
Yeah.
But I just don't love red wine unless I make it into a sangria.
Right.
Yeah.
I like Guinness too. That's actually one of the few beers that I actually really like. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I really only like to drink wine when I'm eating steak
Yeah.
and pasta.
You eat steak a lot, though. You randomly make yourself steak for lunch when you're by
I
yourself.
feel like that's a thing.
Do you like seafood too?
Sometimes, not always.
Okay.
Not a big lobster crab. I'm
like rich
not a big
seafood.
lobster crab guy. Not a lobster crab in general. But I also I'll do like shrimp. Like what's the big one? Shrimp prawns. I'll do prawns.
Yep.
But that's about it. Nothing else. I guess tuna and some
Do you
salmon.
like sashimi?
Yeah,
and
I've had
sushi?
that. But like
raw? You like raw?
But like clam, yeah, I've had it.
Yeah.
Raw, but clams and what's it called?
Oysters?
But what's the ball
Mussels?
thing?
Scallops?
Oh, calamari.
Gross. I love calamari.
Okay.
Scallops.
Oh,
People eat that. It's
I
like
love scallops.
So
you know,
good.
So
gummy.
good.
Anyways,
So where do you want to go for dinner?
yeah, I'll stay. I'm not.
Like,
But
oh,
yeah,
God.
wineries done, local food done. Well, I mean, one of the questions was where do you like to eat locally? What's your go-to place? What's your favorite place? So
I think it totally depends. Like, I actually really like going to some, I shouldn't even say this out loud, but we all get this. Like your local dive watering holes. Like, I think it's like Jimmy Mac's has great food, man.
Yeah.
Right? They've got great food. And I know, like I said before, like I have the odd weird thing, but they've got a really good, like gluten-free bun, and they have like a turkey brie sandwich, might not be your go-to. But like their like potato skins are so good, and they've got a wicked breakfast, and like
I love Jimmy Mac's.
Yeah, Jimmy Mac's is awesome. And then if you want to flip it over and go the other way, like Atlas Steakhouse is awesome. And they're connected to the casino. So if you drink enough wine, then you end up in the casino, it's just sort of hand in hand. But they've got great food there. Their staff is awesome. Jimmy's staff is great. Sammy's staff is great.
I better not say they're horrible.
Right. But I mean, and then of course the twins have the Haven and Stevens, and those are awesome ones too. Dallas, I know, is involved with Stevens too, and that's
Have
awesome.
you gone yet?
Yep, I went.
Yeah, it's great. They've got.
I went. I should have been hungrier. I had dinner, and then we went to eat for a little snack, and we ended up eating 2 entrees and an appetizer and a dessert.
Easy
I
to
felt
do.
terrible after.
Oh,
Let's just say
good.
that. But it was good.
Yeah,
It was good. I had the flight of donut dip.
donuts?
Yep, mini donut dip.
Yeah.
So that was the cherry on top. Like we were already full, but we had it and it was great. And then I had the smash burger. We've had the tacos, and then we had, what else did we have? Oh, I can't remember what we had. After
Crazy drinks too. In there.
The drinks were
Yeah,
good.
they're
The
awesome.
drinks
I got a margarita. So
Yep.
good.
And my favorite sushi place would be Sushi Avenue.
Where's
It's
that?
killer. Do you know that one? Okay, and I'm a bit of a sushi snob. I can't help it. Their sushi is so unbelievable. It's 200th where the Tim Hortons and the Wendy's is. Honey's clothing store is in there. It's like 284th Ave, I think.
Yeah.
84.
By the Shell station there. Tiny little. Alex owns it. Like you walk in, hey Alex, what's up? That sort of place. And so the staff is awesome, and their food is like so fresh, so good. It's my opinion, by far the best sushi I have ever had anywhere, hands down.
That's bold.
It is bold.
I live really close, so I'm gonna have to go there.
Oh, you're gonna die. So good.
Yeah, me neither.
We eat a lot of
I've been
sushi,
there a ton too, like in that
couple
area.
times a week.
I don't even eat rice, which is an awful thing. People are gonna go, "What is wrong with you?" But there's
you eat it with sushi?
Something happened about 2 years ago, and so I've been just like, I had to eliminate a bunch of stuff. So I haven't had rice, pasta, corn, or bread in almost 2 years. And
How are you feeling?
Totally fine.
That's good.
And they'll make my stuff without rice even.
Whoa.
But do they do like cucumber on
The
the
black
outside?
They'll
rice?
do cones
Mm.
and take out the rice completely and do crab instead or cucumber. Or, yeah. And there's lots of stuff I can have there that doesn't have any of that in it. So, but it's their food is so good. You got to go.
Yeah, definitely
Yeah.
go try that out. So yeah, thanks for coming on. Where can people find you? Yeah. Online and in person, because I have to clarify that.
Yeah. So all my socials are just under my name, Karen Lee Batten. And then if people are interested in getting on any shows that I'm working on, they can go to 𝐏𝐿B Entertainment on both Facebook and Instagram. And my direct email for my company is exactly that, 𝐏𝐿Bentertainment@gmail.com.
Awesome. And in person, Gone Country.
The Maple Ridge Fest. Yeah. Girls Trip in Kelowna.
Coming up.
Coming up. Right after Maple Ridge Fest. That's
it's a tour.
Don't go and like try and follow her.
Drop your location and people will come.
I don't even know how to use
Wine with
Snapchat.
Karen. Yeah.
You know,
wine tour with Karen.
I always see people going on Snapchat and going, "Oh, so and so is here and there," and I'm like, "Good grief!"
I turned my location off.
Oh my!
Oh yeah.
Snapchat. I don't want anyone knowing where I am.
Because I remember like being in Summerline one time and I started getting these messages from like random people that weren't even my friends. I was like,
and then you remember that you were on Hinge.
I was like, how did you no, delete?
Were you on Hinge?
No,
just kidding.
Snapchat. I just Hinge like Tinder.
I don't know.
It's a dating site.
Oh, okay.
Like, I guess people. So I had a guitar player once, and we were can't even remember. I think William's like, and he goes, "Oh yeah, I got some chicks they're going to be coming in tonight to see the show." And I'm like, "You know people up here?" I'm like that, and he goes, "Oh no, I just changed my Hinge profile." And I'm like, "You're what?" And he's like, "My Hinge profile. You say Langley now. It says Williams Lake." So been getting some hits. I'm like, okay, right on.
Yes, you can do that.
I did not know that.
Thanks.
I can solemnly swear I've never had a dating app in my lifetime. So
Tinder was just becoming a thing when I met my husband. So
nice.
I never.
It's a norm now. I mean, I dabbled.
I remember.
So pretty.
I made a Plenty of Fish profile, and the first message I got was, "You're so hot, I can make cookies on your back," and I deleted my profile. It's like, this has ruined dating. I'm like not doing this online
for you, hey?
For me. Goodbye.
Yeah, that is what it is now, though.
He's like that, and now he's my husband. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, I deleted it. Yeah. That's funny.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you for coming on.
For having me.
And thanks again for tuning in to Live from Langley, BC. If you're still here, don't forget to subscribe and rate us. We make episodes every week. If you want to check out any others, make sure you check out our page. And if you have any questions for ourselves or Karen, hit us up on social. And yeah, that's it for this one. See you at Gone Country.
Yeah.
Bye.